Welcome back to the show. We now take you to Palma, Spain for highlights from the Copa del Rey Regatta.
Welcome to Palma and the 32nd Copa del Rey, the best and most prestigious big boat regatta in Spain. The day started with sunny conditions as the crews made any last adjustments to their boats before racing. 6 days of racing with 120 boats competing from 24 nations in 8 different classes. The numbers don't lie, and a great week of sailing is expected. On the Charlie course, it was the IRC and Soto 40 classes racing with a great breeze of around 15 knots, making these speed machines fly across the water. First to start was the IRC 0 class, with 4 maxis and mini maxis competing. Next to race was the impressive TP52 fleet, with 9 boats at the starting line. Copa del Rey is the 5th and penultimate stop on the 52 Super Series, so all teams are at the top of their game and pushing hard to improve their standings as well as their season ranking. The 90-foot Shockwave was first to round the windward mug, and the boat's massive sail area allowed it to rush downwind. These boats require maximum synchronization from the teams as they adjust the sails and perform each maneuver as a unit. Even though they make it look easy, there's a huge amount of training that goes on behind the scenes. The TP52 race saw a packed rounding, with the fleet jibe setting and aiming for the right side of the course. The 52-foot one-design boats were very close during the race, but it was Zeldstrom's Ran that dominated the course and won the race. Although the breeze began to die later in the day, there was still some great sailing on show, with the IRC1 and Soto 40s in their races. The cutting-edge boats and quality of teams competing here are testament to the great conditions and top organization of the Copa del Rey, as it attracts competitors from every corner of the world. The Soto 40 class includes the racing here as part of their European calendar, and 8 teams have come down to Palma to participate. Even though they are the smallest boats on the Charlie course, they're lightweight and agile, making them equally as competitive and exciting to watch. However, the day ended with only 1 race for the IRC and Soto 40s fleet due to the lack of wind. It's the second day of the 32 Copa del Rey MAPFRE, and with the sun shining and the promise of a good breeze, there could not be a better start to the day for the more than 110 boats competing here. This year sees the most international fleet in the history of this regatta, and the teams were eager to get racing. The conditions were light during the morning, but all fleets were at their assigned racing areas and ready to sail without any delay as the sea breeze kicked in, allowing all fleets to start on time. On the Alpha course, there were the X35 and J80 fleets, with 12 and 14 teams competing in each class respectively. They were the only 2 classes that managed to finish 2 races yesterday, and with another 2 today, they had a full racing schedule ahead. The ORC1 and ORC2 classes have the biggest number of participants, with the ORC1 class reaching 36 boats. The crowded start really pushed the teams and their boats to the limit, which made for some great viewing. The spectacle continued as the breeze picked up to 14 knots, providing ideal sailing conditions with close battles between the boats and many tight roundings. ORC1 had 4 races to complete today, and ORC2 another 3. Rats on Fire came out on top in the ORC1, as did Movistar in the ORC2 class. There was enough wind for all of the classes to complete the remaining races. On the Bravo racecourse, the IRC and Soto 40s offered up some thrilling moments for spectators with fast spinnaker drops and packed roundings. Meanwhile, it was all eyes on the water in the TP52 fleet, where Rang continued to dominate, scoring 2 bullets, but a 5th place in the 3rd race dropped them into 2nd overall behind Quantum Team. After a long and tiring day for the crews, it was time to rest, recover and get ready for tomorrow, when the coastal race is scheduled for the IRC and Soto 40s. The races have only just begun for the 32 Copa del Rey MAPFRE Regatta, so stay tuned for more action tomorrow. Day 3 of the Copa del Rey here in Palma, and early morning preparations of all 117 boats were well underway as teams waited for the breeze to fill in. There was to be 1 coastal race for the IRCs, while the rest of the classes were scheduled to complete 2 races if the breeze allowed. The IRC Zero fleet included 3 mini-maxis and 1 Bermudian sloop, making for some interesting comparisons during the competition. It was always going to be a close race between Shockwave and Allegra, and Shockwave managed to pull a good performance out of the bag, closing the gap between them and the leaders. An unlucky moment from Stig meant the team would be looking for a stronger performance later in the week. It's vital for the teams to get the best possible speed out of their boat, no matter what the conditions. This is where careful trimming and fine-tuning comes into play, as even small adjustments can mean big gains on the racecourse. In the IRC 52 fleet, Quantum Racing would score 2 bullets in a row, placing them at the top of the leaderboard, with a safe 2.5-point lead from placed 2nd Ran at the end of the day. They chose to start at the committee boat end of the line in their first race, and it proved to be a good move as competitors starting at the pin end, including Spirits of Mallow and 6, lost precious meters as a result. In the ORC 1 fleet, Rats on Fire continued their stable performance, putting them in the top spot on the overall leaderboard. Behind them, and with a gap of 12 points, is Group Clinico, who needn't be too worried about their position, as chasing them in 3rd place is the French team of XLS, who would have to play catch-up to the tune of 14 points if they want to improve their standings. Finally, in the ORC2 class, Movistar came out on top yet again, scoring 2 more bullets and declaring themselves invincible in the process. There's still 3 days of racing left at the Copa del Rey MAPFRE, and the best is yet to come as the teams jostle for position and fight for the win out on the water.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in Palma for more top-class sailing action after this very short break.